The East Coast versus West Coast War. Imagine you're at the 1995 Source Awards in New York City. The air is thick with tension. Suge Knight, the imposing CEO of Death Row Records, takes the stage and delivers a line that effectively declares war. Any artist out there that want to be a star and don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, come to Death Row. He's looking directly at Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Records. This wasn't just a corporate rivalry. It was a personal vendetta fueled by a 1994 shooting in Manhattan where Tupac Shakur was robbed and shot 5 times. Tupac blamed Biggie Smalls and Puffy for having prior knowledge of the hit. Suddenly, the genre is split down a coastal fault line. You're seeing Snoop Dogg stomping on New York skyscrapers in music videos, while Tupac releases Hit 'Em Up, arguably the most vicious diss track in history, claiming he slept with Biggie's wife. The scandal stops being about music and starts being about survival. It reaches a tragic, world-shaking climax with the drive-by murders of Tupac in 1996 and Biggie 6 months later in 1997. 2 icons are gone before age 25, leaving a permanent scar on the culture and a mystery that would take nearly 3 decades to even begin solving. Snoop Dogg's murder trial. You're the hottest new artist in America. Your debut album, Doggy Style, is about to make you a superstar. But instead of celebrating, you're sitting in a Los Angeles courtroom facing a first-degree murder charge. The facts are heavy. Your bodyguard, McKinley Lee, shot a rival gang member named Philip Waldemariam from the vehicle you were driving. The prosecution paints you as a cold-blooded gangsta who hunted a man down over a street insult. You're fighting for your life, while the media debates whether your lyrics are art or a confession. For 3 years, this case hangs over the industry like a guillotine. The turning point comes when the defense reveals that the victim's friends hid a gun Waldemariam was carrying, turning a murder into a case of self-defense. When the not guilty verdict is read in 1996, you don't just win your freedom, you become a living legend. But the experience changes you. You realize that the lifestyle you're rapping about has a body count, and you begin the long pivot from a street-hardened rapper to the global, weed-loving uncle of pop culture we know today. Kanye West and the 2009 VMA. Picture the scene. You're 19-year-old Taylor Swift. You've just won your first VMA. You're in the middle of your thank you speech when a man in a leather jacket and a bottle of Hennessy storms the stage. Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time. In 15 seconds, Kanye West goes from the college dropout genius to the most hated man in America. The backlash is so severe that even President Obama calls him a jackass on a hot mic. But this isn't just an awkward moment. It's a total shift in the celebrity ecosystem. It sparks a 15-year feud that gives us some of the most famous music of the decade. From Kanye's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy to Taylor's Reputation. It established the Kanye formula. Use a public scandal to create a villain persona, then use that villainy to fuel a masterpiece. It was the birth of the modern main character era of hip-hop, where the social media fallout is just as important as the song itself. Drake versus Pusha T. The story of Adidon. You're the biggest artist in the world. You've successfully navigated every beef with a smile and a hit record. Then, Pusha T drops the story of Adidon. This isn't a normal diss track, it's a psychological demolition. Over the beat of Jay-Z's The Story of OJ, Pusha reveals that you have a secret son, Adonis, with a former adult film star. He uses an unedited photo of you in blackface for the cover art. The lyrics are surgical. You are hiding a child, let that boy come home. The OVO brand of polished, vulnerable perfection is shattered instantly. You're forced to admit on your next album that you were hiding the world from your son. This scandal is significant because it proved that in the age of information, dirt is more powerful than bars. It was the first time the invincible Drake was truly humanized, stripped of his cool, and beaten at his own game of public perception. The Travis Scott Astroworld tragedy. Imagine you're in a crowd of 50,000 people. The energy is intense. Travis Scott calls it raging. But the energy turns into a nightmare. A massive crowd surge begins, packing people so tightly they can't breathe. This scandal redefined the rock star image of modern rap. 10 people, including a 9-year-old boy, lose their lives while the music continues for nearly 40 minutes. The footage of fans climbing onto camera towers screaming, "Stop the show," goes viral, sparking a global debate on artist responsibility and corporate greed. Travis Scott faces billions of dollars in lawsuits and a massive cancellation effort. It forced the entire festival industry to rewrite their safety playbooks and questioned whether the rage culture of modern hip-hop had finally pushed its fans too far. P. Diddy's federal downfall. You're a mogul. You built an empire on Bad Boy for Life. But in late 2023, the foundation starts to crumble. Your former partner, Cassie Ventura, files a lawsuit detailing a decade of horrific abuse, trafficking, and freak-offs. Extravagant, drug-fueled parties where victims were allegedly coerced into sexual acts. You settle the lawsuit in 24 hours, but the floodgates are open. By early 2024, federal agents are raiding your mansions in LA and Miami, seizing over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant as evidence. You're eventually indicted on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. This is the ultimate end-of-an-era scandal. It's the reckoning of the 90s industry excess. A Me Too moment for hip-hop that suggests the most powerful figures are no longer untouchable. The man who once curated the coolest parties in the world is now facing a legacy defined not by hits, but by a criminal enterprise. Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. The 2024 war. Finally, we look at the most recent nuclear war. You're watching two of the three kings of the era finally drop the subliminals and go for the throat. Kendrick Lamar releases Not Like Us, a song that doesn't just diss you, it labels you a pedophile and a colonizer of the culture. It becomes a global #1 hit. The scandal here is the depth of the hatred. They aren't just fighting over who is the better rapper, they are fighting over the soul of the genre. Kendrick accuses Drake of having a hidden daughter and running an OVO ring of predators. Drake fires back with claims of domestic abuse in Kendrick's family. It's the most high-density battle in history, where every line is a puzzle that fans spend weeks deconstructing. It ends with Kendrick standing on the throne as the undisputed king, and Drake's invincibility permanently questioned.